Ahead of their release on August 1st in Japan, nearly every Mega Evolution base set card has been revealed. We'll have to wait until September 25th to get our feed on all the Megas in Pokemon TCG Live, including Venusaur, Gardevoir, Lucario, and Latias. I've already covered plenty of cards in base set, which you can see linked in the description. For today's video, I'll only be highlighting the brand new cards. Then, as we get closer to launch, you can expect plenty more previews of the whole thing. Before we get started, the English version of Mega Kangaskhan EX was shown off as part of the Pokemon Presents last week, revealing that its ability is called Run Errand and its attack is Rapid Fire Combo. Pokebeach also noticed that booster packs for Mega Evolution will be slightly different. Instead of including both a basic energy card and Pokemon TCG Live code card, now it'll be either or. Yeah, you'll have to ask them about this decision because I don't know why either. Anyways, let's not cray dilly-dally any longer. Bringing the total to 10, the remaining two Megas in base set are Abomasnow and Manectric. Surprisingly, one of the best Megas in base set, Manectric has 330 hit points, free retreat, and a 2 energy attack that makes itself immune to basics the following turn. So all of a sudden, Raging Bolt can't touch this. Sure, 120 damage on Flash Ray isn't all that amazing, but you are two-shotting the giraffe. Then there's Riot Blaster. For 3 energy, it does a disappointing 200 damage. But if you discard all attached energy, that jumps to 330, enough to one-shot a Dragapult and several of the Megas revealed so far. Attach a Defiance Band or Maximum Belt, now you're one-shotting almost every Mega in the game. Pair it with Electric and Electric Generator, now you have a reliable wall Pokemon for the Zekrom Mirror, someone who can take extra prizes early in Iron Hands, a heavy hitter mid-game with Manectric, and a heavy hitter late-game with Zekrom. This might change, but I'm willing to give Mega Manectric 4 toes out of 5 right now because I'm a true believer in flashing people named Ray. Boasting a massive 350 hit points on a stage 1, Mega Abomasnow EX isn't as exciting as Manectric. I see the vision, and I can definitely make it work for a couple of games, it's just that cards like this always seem to struggle due to their random nature. I much prefer the guaranteed randomness of coin flips. For 2 water energy, Avalanche Hammer discards the top 6 cards of your deck, then deals 100 damage times the number of water energy discarded that way. Hit 4 water energy, nothing surviving. Academy at Night can guarantee 1, while Deduction Kit can give you a Pikachu with your top 3 cards. Unfortunately, where other cards with similar attacks only discard the relevant cards, Abomasnow is super destructive, getting rid of everything. So you could hit all of your energy recyclers with your first hammers, basically putting you out of the game before it begins. And Frost Barrier isn't anything to write home about, dealing a ho-hum 200 damage for 3 water while reducing incoming damage next turn by only 30. As interested as I was upon first reveal, I can't give Obama more than 3 toes right now. And honestly, that might drop as time goes on. Moving on from Megas, it seems like the Pokemon Company is running out of ideas because now they're copying effects from TCG Pocket for the main game. Just like Superior, the new Meganium's Wild Growth ability doubles how much a single basic grass energy provides when it's attached to your Pokemon. While that ability's great, aside from Chikorita having 70 hit points, Meganium's pre-evolutions are practically useless. And yes, I know there's people getting ready to furiously comment below with their oily feet that Wild Growth has already existed via Jungle Toad and Venusaur from Shining Legends. I'll even take the actually one step further and say that Wild Growth Meganium originally came out in Neo Genesis. So my point about them running out of ideas kinda stands. Thankfully, with Chikorita being one of the starters in Legends ZA, we should get another version soon. Whether it's good or not, though, remains to be seen. As for Meganium, there's a few ways to exploit Mega Growth, which is what I experienced when watching For the Win. The obvious is Teal Masked Ogerpon with Hydrapple. Ogerpon accelerates Grass Energy into play, Hydrapple does boosted damage based on Grass Energy in play. If it wasn't for the fact that you have to add another Stage 2 to the deck, I'd say this combo is goated. Instead, you might want to just pair Meganium with Ogerpon. Or putting Meganium with Mega Venusaur allows you to attack for 2 energy. Though that's probably worse than going the quad Ogerpon route. But do you know what would make Meganium insanely busted? A reprint of Forest of Giant Plants. While it's not quite that, Vitality Forest makes grass decks a lot scarier. So powerful that it was banned, Forest of Giant Plants allowed grass Pokemon to evolve right away. Aside from the fact that you can't evolve on your first turn of the game, Vitality Forest is pretty much the same card, allowing each player's grass Pokemon to evolve into a grass Pokemon on the turn they were played. So slightly worse than Forest of Giant Plants, but still crazy. And the difference with Grand Tree is that Grand Tree lets you search your deck for the Stage 1, then the Stage 2. Vitality Forest forces you to have the Pokemon in hand. This opens up so many insane strategies. Now all of a sudden Venusaur or Hydrapple with Meganium isn't so far-fetched. You will have to load up on more Dipplin or Ivysaur and Bayleaf with Vitality Force replacing Rare Candy, but this is crazy. Not only can you make a great evolution grass deck, but a basic heavy one with Meganium has a lot of potential. Teal Masked Ogerpon can deal a ton of damage easily, or you can energy switch one of those grass to Tapu Bulu, dealing 220 on a single prizer. Ho-Oh Armarouge is definitely a major threat for anyone planning on trying a grass deck, but it doesn't change the fact that grass is in an amazing spot going into Mega Evolution. Sticking with grass types, you wouldn't think this Shuckle is going to be all that impactful, until you have flashbacks to Gardevoir players who take 15 minutes to win games on PTCGL because the UI is so horrible. We already knew that Mega Venusaur's ability would pair well with Teal Masked Ogerpon and Wally's Compassion. You let Venusaur take a hit, move the energy off of it, play Wally to fully heal Venusaur, then move it all back. Well, Shuckle adds more healing and, unfortunately, more energy switching. Put an energy on Shuckle, heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. Not only is this amazing against Frostlass Munkidori decks, it's also great at holding people hostage on TCG Live. Because you have to move each energy one at a time, activate Shuckle's ability, choose the Pokemon to heal, then move that energy back to Venusaur. Don't get me wrong, Shuckle is a super useful card, but that won't stop me from hating it as I watch my opponent's timer tick under 5 minutes while they still haven't taken a single freaking prize card. Speaking of Gardevoir, we already know Mystery Garden is going to make games go even longer, drawing the deck up to 6 every turn. But a card that's flown under the radar is Xerneas. While it only has like a 30% chance of actually making the deck, the first attack is a call for family, letting you slap 3 basic psychic Pokemon onto your bench. Now you have less chance of a nothing start, giving you more ways to find basics turn 1 going second. And while it's obviously worse than Drifloon and Screamtail, don't overlook the fact that it's a single prize attacker without an ability who deals 120 damage. Again, not busted, but it is yet another card that has the potential to make Gardevoir stronger. Remember how I talked about Mega Abomasnow earlier? If you don't, you probably also forgot to subscribe to me. Abomasnow cares about the top card of your deck, but Academy at Night was really the only partner. Well, Gumshoe slots in perfectly here, giving us back a Rangaroo from Sword and Shield base set on a stage 1 rather than a basic. Probably the biggest benefactor of Gumshoes will be Slowking. You'll still want Academy at Night as a failsafe, but a 1/1 Gumshoes increases the odds of being able to put whoever you want on top of your deck for Seek Inspiration to copy. Being a stage 1, Gumshoes won't be nearly as popular as a Rangaroo back in the day, but there's a few decks that will absolutely help. Yet another slightly different version of a Sword and Shield card, Dangerous Ruins is a surprisingly stronger Gapejaw Bog, except it doesn't affect Dark types. Whereas Gapejaw Bog only affected Pokemon put on the bench from hand, Dangerous Ruins puts 2 damage counters on any Pokemon put on the bench from anywhere. Now, if only there was a non-Dark type in Standard that wanted to be damaged so it can pass those counters over to the other side. Yes, Dangerous Ruins is another card for Munkidori to take advantage of. Or someone like Aggron can use it to damage its own Pokemon, thus powering up Angry Slam. And Lose Cool Annihilate can easily damage Mankey, thus activating its ability. Gapejaw Bog was a useful card back in the day, though it was only run in a few decks. Despite it being more powerful, I still expect Dangerous Ruins to see a similar amount of play. Yet another stadium coming in Mega Evolution, Surfing Beach is a switch for water types. Aside from Palafin EX, which this is a huge boost for, there aren't many old cards that care about Surfing Beach, but there is a new one. Whenever Clawitzer moves from the active spot to the bench, you can accelerate 2 water energy from hand directly to it. Then for 3 water, it deals 210 damage, which is a great number, one-shotting Pheasantipity, Ogerpon, Mew, Squawkabilly, and Latias. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a new trend in Mega Evolution where basics have 80 hit points now, putting them out of Poffin range, and Clauncher is one of them. But if you'll allow me to cook, there is a bit of a combo here. Chen-Pao Baxcalibur has fallen on hard times. What if you could cut out Baxcalibur and still deal massive damage with Chen-Pao? Use Clawitzer along with Surfing Beach and Surfer and Air Balloon, get 4 more energy into play, then attack with Chen-Pao. Recycle that energy with Retrievals and Super Rod or Energy Recycler and deal at least 210 damage each turn, all without having to worry about your entire life being ruined by a Baxcalibur KO. We'll have to wait and see if it's actually good, because attaching from hand can be a bit awkward, but at the very least I had fun whacking off in front of all of you. Another fighting-specific item in Mega Evolution, Fighting Gong, is Fog Crystal for fighting types. Unlike Premium Power Pro, which will be in almost every fighting deck, especially Conkeldurr and Garchomp, I'm not sure the Gong fits anywhere. Fog Crystal was goated because of Shadow Rider VMAX, but Garchomp wants Poffin to find Roselia and Spiritomb, while Conkeldurr doesn't care about the energy aspect. Ultimately, yes, this is a great card and could be awesome in the future. Right now, though, it doesn't really seem to have a place. Moving to a metal-specific item card, we have Iron Defender, which is a reverse orange Gatorade. Or Jasmine's Daze for metal types, highlighting just how terrible of a card Jasmine's Daze is. Play it, your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage next turn, and it stacks. In the Pokemon TCG, offense is almost always better than defense. While you might be able to buy a turn, reducing damage by up to 120, it's just not good enough. The only real user is Steven's Metagross, who can effectively block an entire attack for a single turn thanks to Defender, Carbink, and Granite Cave. But you have to put 4 copies of a card into your deck that may impact the game. Premium Power Pro is almost guaranteed to impact the game. Maybe I'm hating on it a little too much, I just don't think wasting 4 slots in your deck to reduce up to 120 damage is worth it. Especially when Raging Bolt can still laugh in your face. One of the most interesting supporters ever printed, Lieutenant Surge's Bargain, asks your opponent if you can both take a prize card. If they say no, you draw 4 cards. It's similar to Squidward and Dogbird, except it doesn't completely suck. The problem is that you can't really do much with Lieutenant Surge. If you're running it, your opponent's going to know something is up and let you draw 4. Otherwise, they might be helping to power up Ursa Luna or Zekrom, which isn't great for them. So yes, funny card, and I'm glad they're giving us such wacky effects, but it doesn't really fit anywhere except maybe a Tinkaton deck. Do I think Suspicious Clock is a good card? No. Do I also think Suspicious Clock is a potentially annoying card? Yes. The effect of this item lets you devolve one of your Psychic Pokemon as many times as you want, meaning it was probably intended for Alakazam. But Gardevoir can Psychic Embrace to itself, knock out the Ralts or Kirlia underneath, activate Countercatcher, and take a KO for game. This definitely feels like the 5th or 6th best new card for Gardevoir Mega Evolution, but it is yet another tool in the box. Last on the trainer side, we're getting a reprint of Repel from Sun and Moon base set. It's just an item with Iron Bundle's effect, which means it's useless if they have a Jellicent in the active. So you're better off sticking with the Penguin rather than half of an escape rope. Switching to the Pokemon, just like the Gatorade, Garganacl boosts the damage your fighting types deal by 30, and it stacks. You just, need to have multiple of these stage 2s in play at once. And you'll almost never attack with them unless you run Reversal Energy or Relicanth with the Knackley that makes them salty. Garchomp's not a good partner because Roserade exists. The only reason you'd choose Garganacl is if you also added in the Energy Accelerating one, going for a more attack-focused Garchomp deck that uses Draconic Buster every turn, which honestly wouldn't be too terrible. There's also Mega Lucario, who has similar attack stacks to Garchomp, except it's a stage 1 that gives up 3 prizes. And just like Garchomp, you could run multiple Garganacl to pair with Mamoswine since that fixes the energy issues. But Standard is riddled with Pokemon who have almost the exact same ability. There's Superior, Lilligant, Kingambit, and Stelladirge who all boost damage in one way or another. Except how often do you actually see these cards? Yes, Garganacl is helped by the energizing Rock Salt Garganacl, but that just means you need multiple different stage 2s. Don't get me wrong, there's something here, it's just that history is telling us Garganacl won't be that impactful of a card. I previously said the power of Lunatone depends on the Solrock, and unfortunately Solrock kinda sucks. 70 damage for a single fighting isn't going to cut it like a tree blocking your path. You could use the old Solrock with a Call for Family attack, but that's a Psychic and can't be found with the Dawn. So while Lunatone can help draw cards and get energy in the discard pile from Mega Lucario's Aura Jab, both Solrock are kinda useless. Raikou not a bad card, it's just that we already have several good single prize attackers for Miraidon. Zero Aura snipes 210 on bench DXs for 3 energy. Tapu Koko can deal 180 for 3 if you're behind on prizes. And the other Zero Aura can punish Area 0 decks. So Raikou is very much playable and will almost always be dealing 120 for 2 lightning. The problem is that Thunder Raid Zero Aura is so much stronger. For some rapid fire Pokemon, we have Exeggutor, who does 60 base damage plus 30 more for each grass energy attached to it. You could put it into a Meganium, Mega Venusaur, Ogerpon deck and hate how inconsistent it is, but even then you still need to attach 5 grass energy to Mr. Stompy to deal 360. Another new stage 1 grass type, Tangrowth, does 260 damage with 3 energy attached if you have Meganium in play. That's 20 more than Exeggutor would do with 3, but it's capped at 260, whereas the Eggman can get it up like it's still in college. The Pokemon Company continues their refusal to give us a good shift tree, instead once again focusing on some weird shuffle attack that's worse than the currently available shift tree. Skipping right over Delmise, Jynx, Pyroar, Mantine, Ice-Q, and Heliolisk, who don't even deserve to be acknowledged, I'm not a fan of Centistorch or Chi-Yu either. Centistorch's attack is a double Crushing Hammer for their active, but we already have cards like Unfezant and Gumshoes that guaranteed remove energy, yet nobody plays those. While Chi-Yu can discard a Stadium and prevent them from playing Stadiums the next turn, I don't think it'll do anything right now. Obviously, if they reprint something like Chaotic Smell, or if Vitality Force becomes a huge threat, then it's good. But we already have Chen Pao to bump stadiums. And if you're playing a fire deck, you'd rather KO grass types through weakness rather than fiddling around with stadiums. I think they want us to play Volcanion with Embor, recycling energy every turn. Unless grass becomes a thing, this card's kinda useless. Because 130 times 2 is still only 260, which means you're really just one-shotting Ogerpon. Sandslash is awful, since evolving or retreating or switching breaks any potential negative effect on your opponent's active. You're much better off running Chinotic for guaranteed sleep than whatever the hell this is. If you're looking for a new partner for Frostlass, Frostmoth is definitely an option. Not only does it spread 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, it also puts their active to sleep. I know I poo-poo coin flip cards and using Maractus's corner attack is probably better, but if you manage to keep them asleep for a Timmy turn or two while also running Monkey Dory and Legacy Energy and Handheld Fan, you might have a viable spread deck. Until you realize basics are going to have 300 hit points again starting in September. The only thing the new Magnezone line brings to the table is a 70 hit point Magnemite, which you can put into any Lightning deck running Magneton and make it slightly tougher to knock out. Baby Pokemon are continuing in the Mega Evolution era. While Tyrogue could offer up one funny moment every 100 games, dealing 300 damage if you flip 10 heads in a row, that's about it. 20 to their active and 20 to one of their bench Pokemon is just worse than Uxie. And despite the attack name being called Boundless Power, it seems like Stonejourner is pretty bound by the attack as it can't do anything the following turn besides retreat. Sure, you could use Dangerous Ruins to damage the water corefish underneath Crawdaunt, but even if it attacked for free, 130 damage isn't getting you anywhere. Spiritom's interesting, but like that girl I went on a Tinder date with who just got out of the asylum, interesting doesn't mean fun. For each Spiritomb you have in play, you put one damage counter on your opponent's active if they hit into your active Darkness Pokemon. It's a lot for very little, especially in a Frostlass Monkey Dory world. Aside from being a free retreating cornerer, Yveltal doesn't have anything going for it. And Thievul is just a worse Audino from Black Bolt that you probably didn't even know existed. Grafaiai could be good in a perfect world with a coin reflip card having a high chance at paralysis every turn. But we live in an imperfect world where Gardevoir Love Dolls cost as much as a Switch 2 and have to be replaced a lot more often than a Switch 2. Steelix could be a spicy 1/1 line in our Chaladon deck, especially since it can be found with Genesect EX's ability. It just sucks that after dealing that 240 damage when you have 6 prizes, Steelix becomes utterly useless. When it comes to Dialga, I need to bring back an old catchphrase. It's just a worse Heatran. 160 for 3 metal on a basic single prizer could be great in a Baby Maker Matang deck, except we already have Heatran who can one-shot Megas. Master of Time, more like Master of, crap. If I had a nickel for every stage 1 that let you get cards from your deck for a single colorless energy, well, I'd probably have more than 2, but I didn't bother looking for any more after these guys. Where Scrafty gets cards based on your bench Pokemon, meaning you can guarantee up to 8, Goldengo is a coin flip. Even I know that 8 is a higher number than 0. You don't have to be afraid of the new Fearow. Even if it flips 5 heads, that's still just 150 damage. Yeah, you might be able to do something funny with the turn 1 going second evolving Spearow, but that's about it. Because this game is turning into TCG Pocket, Miltank flips 2 coins, and if both are heads, you heal all damage from one of your Pokemon. I'd much rather use Liepard or Cofagrigus rather than filling myself with milk straight from Miltank's udders. When you first look at Grumpy, you think it's useless. After all, we already have Gloom and Vileplume who accelerate energy when you evolve into them. Except Grumpy looks at the top 4 cards of your deck while Gloom is just 3. But then you remember Suspicious Clock and, well, it's still kinda useless. But being able to devolve, then re-evolve Grumpig to maybe accelerate any type of energy each turn will be something YouTubers do in a video when we're in early November and desperate for ideas. If Houndstone discarded cards from your opponent's hand rather than shuffling them into their deck, it might be worth taking the risk. Since it's not, and it relies on the ever-fun coin flip mechanic, it won't see play. And the new Delibird is a spiritual reprint of Indeedee from Silver Tempest, letting you get a card turn 1 going first. Except, as you may recall, no one played Indeedee. Even though I pay a woman to dress up in a Lopunny costume and ignore me, I couldn't ignore this card. Yes, it sucks and we'll see negative play, but it's Lopunny. I'm obligated to let you stare at it for at least 10 seconds. Oh, and Beware is a waste of cardboard. 3 energy for maybe 200 damage, but probably 100 isn't anything. We also learned this week that Boss's Orders, Ultra Ball, Energy Switch, Rare Candy, and Switch will all be reprinted with an eye regulation marker, meaning they'll be standard legal for another few years. There was no word on Iono or Professor's Research, which are still scheduled to rotate in March. Lastly, we have the dreaded gym promos. These typically get released in English 6 months after Japan, so we might not see them until November or maybe our March or April set next year. Lapras could be a thing with Baxcalibur, except it needs 11 energy to one-shot Dragapult, and you have to hope they don't have a Dust card next turn. And Hole, Dig, and Shovel might enable a Wo-Chien deck with Cypher Maniac, but that's about it. I'd be remiss not to thank the late Justin Basil for doing an amazing job uploading Pokemon card proxies, which I've been using on this channel for years. If it wasn't for his hard work, I wouldn't be able to make these videos.